Welcome back. My name is Mulligan and this is another update for Xenonauts 2. So this update came out yesterday, so I didn't really have much time to check. But because there are some updates for the early access or the delay, I wanted to, get it out there a little bit quicker. So as I said, there's a delay. They don't feel like the game is ready to launch in early access, so they will extend the closed beta with the version 3 release. However, they are saying that all 18-pound Kickstarter should receive a closed beta key soonish to join the testing crew, more or less. So we will see, but supposedly people should have access to early access should then get access to the closed beta and can test the game with us. Yeah. And he said to the closed beta bit that they are now working more on the game design itself, or the fine-tuning of that, instead of stability and functionality, which brings a couple problems which we can talk about later. So a lot of changes again. The main base, so if you saw the main base, it is more or less similar to the new XCOM design. You have a base running from top to bottom, and you can only build down below if you build on the first floor, or then you can go down one floor, then one floor further down, and you have to go from the main pillar to the side, something along those lines. It is still in, but now buildings have different slots. So it's not all one slot. Bigger buildings that give a bigger benefit need 2 slots as example. I looked as example, the small radar allows you to add another 1 radar, or gives you 1 radar slot to expand, while the big radar, which costs 2 spaces instead of 1 like the small, enables you to get 4 radar slots. So you get more or less double the amount, but you have to build a bigger slot. You have to use a bigger setup for the radar array, and it cost more, I would guess. Didn't really check that, but I would assume. So they changed that, which is nice, because that makes it a little bit more strategic where to place what. It would be nice if the buildings had some kind of adjacency bonus like in XCOM, where if you have, I don't really know, maybe if you have a science lab and then a radar array next to it, the radar array would be better. Has maybe like 10 or 20% more range, something along those lines. This would add another strategic layer you could introduce, but we will see. So they changed the soldier generation. Stats are now random, which is nice. You don't have all 50 soldiers anymore. They have random stats, which they do. They have introduced 250 new soldier portraits, which is nice. Gives it a little bit more life. And they introduced the strength stat again. I didn't really remember that they removed that, but apparently they did, which naturally controls carrying capacity. Okay, they introduced strategic operations, similar to XCOM again, where you had in XCOM 2, he outlined a couple options they are playing around with, and he did reference XCOM 2, that he liked the whole system of, like here, War of the Chosen, where you had resistance operations that give useful rewards by sending people out, and they're not too sure how to balance that. So you can't just send some scrub to that, and I mean, if it fails, it fails. If it works, it works. Something along those lines. Then maybe having to send better soldiers is one option they have outlined. We will see how they want to manage that. This is the link, by the way, that leads to this if you want to read a little bit more. And they have introduced an alien base, which was buggy for me, naturally. I started, it was similar to like in Xenonauts 1, where you started, you had your little area, and I had 3 doors, which was fine, but the starting area was pink, so that was buggy, but okay. Texture didn't load, whatever. One of the doors didn't work. I mean, can happen. I mean, it is a beta for that. And the game crashed naturally. But what I did see was that they had a little bit different corridors, which I like. So not only just going straight down the corridor, they had little walls extruding from the walls in a 90-degree fashion. So maybe you can hide behind that later on. It felt a little bit better from what I could see before it crashed. But okay, yeah, I'm not really a fan of base mission itself. I mean, I'm losing them all the time. And they introduced the second alien race, the Psions we know, seasons, whatever they are called in Xenonauts 1, and civilians. Yeah, which are regenerating lizardmen, which is bullshit, but okay. And they can now, they have a variety of equipment and can now have shields. I don't know why, but they can. I would like, I like in X Division that the Psions, not Psions, seasons, they have the shields. They are not as tanky, but they have a shield to offset that non-tankiness. While the civilian, they are pretty tanky and they can regenerate their life, so they don't really need the shield, in my opinion at least. So this is what they posted here. Naturally, they link to the patch notes in here, which has a little bit more. So UFO fleet and guard behavior. Normally a UFO has 2 speeds, cruise and some kind of boost speed that they trigger if they want to flee or attack. But what they hope is that if a UFO detects nearby interceptors, like a scout or so, that they try to disappear, boost away, and that fighter UFOs will try to intercept while you are trying to intercept a UFO. Similar, a little bit strategic. I don't know if they can achieve that. I'm hopeful. We will see. And they have now changed the Sky Ranger. Normally you would just have to wait for the Sky Ranger because you only have one base where you more or less start the Sky Ranger from. From what I saw, I don't know if they wanted to change that, but they now have just said you just reverse engineered alien technology and your Sky Ranger can teleport. Bam. Don't know why the Sky... Okay, if the Sky Ranger itself can teleport, okay. But it just teleports into the mission and done. Which would normally mean I could load up anything I want, but I guess not. They introduced some armor fragments and magnetic weapons for the Kickstarter goal, I believe. Magnetic weapons that... I believe that was the modular weapons. But they have introduced some of that mechanic in here, or later game technology. Let's go with that. And we should go and leave feedback for that. Didn't really check out. I only checked out the base. I wanted to see what the base was like, because I had base mission. And I wanted to see the strategic operations, which are pretty similar. You have a little spot, you click on that, get your people on that, say go, and they take like a couple days to finish that. Which leaves you something to do if no alien ships are in orbit or no missions are there. You can just get that going. Outpost mission, new UFO crash site, so they introduced a bunch new maps. They updated older maps that were missing, like interiors and stuff. Civilians naturally, and here equipment including shields, which means that they do have a tougher variant Brute which carries a machine gun, but they did say that the shield, that you don't start with the shield anymore, but you have to capture a civilian to re-engineer the shield, which I don't really agree with, because the shield stunning a civilian is the last thing I want to do in a mission. Psion, no problem, but a civilian, yeah, if you, at least in Xenonauts 1, if you fail, you are dead. Such a recruitment, they have more or less a pool. You can just recruit soldiers for free, but it only refreshes with every funding report. We will see if that changes. New portrait, soldier strength, UI improvements. Some other changes. UI did improve a lot. One problem that seems to have happened, that people more or less couldn't differentiate between the research and engineering, so they updated that a bit. We have gameplay stuff. DEFCON counts up instead of down. Speed is increased. What else? Teleport bay, strength. And no, okay. Oh, right. One thing. Updates to the UI, sales item, frag grenades expert at the end of your turn, like in Xenonauts 1, okay. Civilians carry shield, and you don't have the shield, you have to research them, capturing alien shields before you can do that. They had this here. Added support for regions of the map to inflict environmental damage. In future builds, the alien bases will have poisonous air that inflicts damage to any soldier not equipped with gas-resistant armor. This seems like a nightmare. A good nightmare, but a nightmare nonetheless. We will see how hard this will be, but I reckon this could be really, really bad. And in terms of having to cope up with that, probably the gas-resistant armor is not as resistant to damage as the other ones. We will see. There was another little thing they had. Let me remember. Oh, I had it a second ago. Come on, let's look through a little bit. I don't. They had one thing added, changed, but I cannot remember exactly what. Right, now I know. If you have a mission, you can now see the amount of alien life signs on that mission and a preview of that biome or map type. And if you have an autopsy for the aliens, you can even supposedly differentiate between is it a Psion mission, civilian mission, which would mean you can prepare a lot easier for that mission, which I do like a lot. because I don't really like that you have to have 2 or 3 sets of weapons to be able to react to any kind of. There we go. The ground mission information pop-ups now show life signs, allowing you to recognize alien units that you have performed an autopsy on, and also has a biome preview image that gives you an idea of the environment. So you know, this is a city, maybe explosives are not too hot, maybe a shotgun is more preferable because of close quarter combat. You have a field, you know, okay, close quarter is not too good on that, let's go with sniper. I do like that a lot, and especially if you can really differentiate later on what aliens you have. Civilian, you pack whatever, what do they not like? Fire, I guess. Or Psions that don't like fire either because fire is OP. Something like that. But that was it for this update. A lot of rambling, sorry about that. So the next update should be probably, I don't know if they want to make another update, if the early access tier will get the closed beta keys or when they come out. We will see. But at this point, they did update once a month, which is a good pace. You don't have to update every week or 2 weeks. But once a month is more or less, or 1.5 months. But still okay, we got 2 updates in 1 month, and then February was working. I'm okay with that pace as long as we get new information and changes. So stay tuned, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.